Hello, I'm Coach Faye, and I would like to go over today map Haven. This will be about how you should play this map in rank play. It's not professional play. Professional play is so much more different on terms of how players use the information, space, and their utility. I will be talking about ranked gameplay, probably in most likely in high elo around Ascendant, High Diamond, Ascendant, and Immortal. So the first thing we need to get better at this map. You need to understand this map, what's happening. This is the defense side I'm talking about. Why it's this map considered as a attacker-sided map? Because they are three bomb sites, and usually defenders have to spread out to cover this. Usually 1-1-3 or two 2-1-3s. I'm sorry about that. Or 1-1-1-2. Because as you can see, the all defenders are spread out, so that's why this map considers attack sided. Because if 5-man pushes A, this player will take long time to rotate. This player, if someone lurking from mid, this players will caught up if they rotate from here, and there's a safe. As you can see, this is a safe rotate, and this is a more risky rotate, depends on if you have mid control or not. So uh, first, I would like to which agents you should play on this map. This is the let's make a tier list. As a controller, I will put Omen as the first best on this map. Second, Astra. I will say Brim, the third one. I don't know about the Harbor yet, so it's still trying out how good it is in this map. But right now I'm gonna ignore Harbor. That's why. So why Omen over Astra? I will explain more later in this video. So let's move on to Duelist. I think the best Duelist in this map is it is defender sided if you are defending Jet. And I will almost the same. Like if you're attacking, I will prefer Raze. But if you're defending, I prefer Jet in this map. And I will cover why. Third, Phoenix, I will say. Neon, then Yoru, then Reyna. I think Reyna overall for me the worst duelist, but she's the most picked agent because if you have a good aim, that you can get away with many positioning, many like crosshair placement or utility mistakes, you can get away with it. But in other agents such as Yoru, Neon, you might not get away with Phoenix too. In Jad and Raze you can satchel, maybe dash away, but Reyna is so much it forgives player errors so much. So, but I will cover why Raze and Jad, why it's important in this map. So as a central, Killjoy after the recent patch, I think it's there. Cypher second. Cypher is better lurker than Killjoy in this map. And Chamber, I think after the nerfs, pretty bad spot. I think actually is the fourth. Sage is above Chamber. If it's before the nerf, of course Chamber goes top. But in this map, yeah. So initiators, I think you definitely need Sova or Fade as a first. Not for, I'm sorry. You need two. I would like to prefer two initiators in this map. Breach is amazing. I will say I will put on the first, but second almost the same. I will put Fade and Sova, and I will cover them too. Sky, I think and KO I think is the worst initiator in this map. Of course, this is ranked. You can, if you are a good KO player, you can get away. You can create so much. KO is more self-sufficient than Fade and Sova. That's why you might have more success with KO and Sky. These are agents can flash themselves and get picks, so basically impact the round. But otherwise, the things I look at the initiators, you need to support the players that needs to create a play, such as Jet, Raze. You need to put them in the position to make play. So after this, which agent should play, I will go into the game and show how this maps plays out. Okay, let's start with our tier list about the agents. Why Omen is the best controller in this map, and second Astra over Brim. in this map, as you can see, it's a very spacious map. There's a lot of spaces, and as you can see, there's a lot of elevation in this map. That's why also jet and race comes into a play. That you need to use this off-angle elevations in every side as a defender. In the A side, you can use these elevations, and in the C side, even garage, you can use these elevations off angles here. So basically in this defense, as Omen is better than especially Brimstone and Astra, because he can get the elevations and off angles most constantly than other agents can do. Astra cannot do it, Brim cannot do it, but why Astra is, I put Astra over Brim in this map, because Astra has potentially 4 smokes. In Brim you can only get 1, and if you are defending and if you are getting mid control, these smokes are important to get mid control to challenge these angles here. So the thing is about this map as a defender, the worst thing you can happen to you is someone dies at mid. Because imagine you peek out mid window, the smoke disappear. You peek out window and someone kills you from here. Now in your whole map there's a hole in your defense. And especially when you think about 1C, 1 garage, 1B, 2A as like a default, your whole middle of the map is open. So someone has to slide over. If the garage player slides over, then your garage is empty. So the worst thing you can do if you are like, especially does this Reyna mains does a lot, just peek here, die here, or get one, also get traded. So that's the thing is, right, in your defense, one and dones, you should avoid them in this map, because whenever you die, because the map is so spacious, it gives opportunity to attackers to occupy that space immediately. So if you die, if you peek out here and die, or get one and die, it still attackers so much advantage, because someone has to cover your spot. Or if you peek out this door without utility, you also die, you leave out such a huge gap in your defense. So in order to do that, renewable smokes are important. So imagine this: you smoke window, your Sova or someone fade, dogs out garage or eyes garage, someone get to this position. And this position right here is very important position in this map as a defender. If you can get into the spot, you can actually lock the round so easily. First, you're in the off spot. Second, how much you can hear. Look at this. You can hear all the rotations everywhere if your team shut down A. So basically the setup you can do is breach stuns A main and raise nades A lobby, and you smoke and dart mid, and someone gets here. First you stop the A rush, and now they thinking that the attackers thinking that okay, we are at the A. They know we are at the A, and now this player can hear everything. And Omen is a good player for that, because from here your off angle, yes, it's not safe to smoke like this, but your off angle, if someone they won't see you from the window, you can smoke both sides, you can help your team. And if you want to be aggressive, you can do this play too. Care about the elevation though. And that's why Omen is my first pick in this, because renewable smokes, off angles, and his teleportation to get a. You can actually, this position also is pretty important. This is off angle, and you can challenge this angle, because when attackers peek from here, they have to clear their crosshair placement usually this, and you are here, they have to flick you, but you already have to put your crosshair on them, so you have most likely win this fight. But taking 50-50 this fight is the worst thing you can do as a defender in this side, and also garage side too. Okay, for duelists, why Jet is in defense better than Raze for me, because of this angle here, right here. This angle, especially as a Jet, you want to be upper in this map, and this angle is one of the most strongest angles in this map as a defender you need to hold. So why it's important? You have to imagine that the thing is first, Jett needs to get the spot, and how does she get in the spot? So Breach can stun, Raze can nade, or you can send a dart, or you can send utility, Raze, nade, or dart, and when you get this spot, if you get safely, this so when you get when the Jett gets a spot, your teammates can rotate the other side if Jett doesn't see anything. Because whenever they go through A from this garden area, she will have the first contact, maybe a little bit off angle. You can even go through here, a little bit off angle too, and you can leave your upper A alone and stack other sides. So this Jett being here controls towards here of the map. So that's why I really like Jett in this map as a defender, because it gives so much map control. Imagine if Raze was here, the Raze can be here too as an upper too, but the Raze can be used to stop pushes on C or Garage with his rushes with her nade. That's pretty strong, but Jett cannot do that. So Jett basically, if you're opping with Jett on C, if the enemies, I'm talking about the little high elo, won't peek this without a utility. So either flash and they will force you off this angle. Breach stun, breach flash, dart, that you will get forced off this angle, and you have to basically, either you are really good at dodging utility and play around it. If you're not, if the enemy team is using their utility well, you have to basically fall back here and try to play retake with operator. But if you're Jett, and using op this, you basically need to use this angles, elevation, because Jett also can get elevation in this map. This map is elevation heavy, so if you have an elevation character, it's pretty good. It's actually not pretty good, it's amazing to holding these angles, even with rifle or sheriff or anything. So that's why I put Jett higher than Raze as a defender in this map. Okay, why Fade and Sova is important on this map? If you're playing Fade, you basically want to play with your Raze. So getting a main control is pretty important in this map, because this orb, when you out of the spot, when you barrier down here, is staring right in the face, like saying, "Come get me." But how you get this? You cannot just come and get this. If you're Jett, you can smoke it and try to get it. But if the attackers coming through this long area, they will spam you. So other thing you can do is the Fade and Raze. You can do this combo to delay this push. Yes, Jett can dash in or Raze can satchel in, but you still give you control of this orb. You have to farm as a defender. This orb is your best friend. You need to farm this every round. You have to make sure every round you need to farm this. So this combo, Raze nade, paint shells, and Fade tether, it can guarantee this. And also, if you're playing short, this is pretty important information after they cut noise. But because you have two of them, Sova only has one drone. That in Sova you have to play towards C and B more, because you can help your team better from C and B darting from everywhere. Fade darts only basically not that long. You have to play the side they usually hit heavy, because you have utility stop the push with your other enabling your Raze too. So other thing you should know about the Fade, because you're gonna play A, you should know a couple lineups. This is one of my favorite lineups right here. Doing this dart right here is amazing for retake. Also helps people to push out Garage, because this scans here, behind box 2, here. It helps to put people from Garage to push out, and also it helps your team to push out. Another thing you need to learn, if someone playing default, that dart won't get it, is default. So doing this to default also will help you push Garage players. If they see this tethered, they will help them. So this is, and also I think Fade ulti is better retake than Sova ulti in this map, because if it's super strong on B, super strong on A. In C, less stronger because people usually play towards long. So that's why I prefer Fade, but the Breach still the most important. mm, Breach is the most important initiator on this map because the fault lines and everything, and I will cover right now. So as a Breach, also similar to Fade, but you play different angles. So this fault line here with Naze Nade is pretty strong to get early control of A main. And this map is, if you get control A main, you actually rotate faster and you can farm this orb as a defender. That's why it's important. And also Breach can stun if he hurts push towards Garage. He can also help Garage from this spot. Maybe a little bit on Garage too. So this spot is bread and butter as a Breach, and you need to make sure, because you usually play this map 2-1-1-1. You need to make sure that two people stacking the side, you have to make sure that you get that control. And if they're rushing to you, if they're rushing to a lobby, they basically taking damage. And if you're waiting for the fault line to like, if they wait till fault line, this the stop, you already got the orb. You got what you wanted. And from now on, the thing is you doing here, right here, is telling you we got the orb, no one peek, maybe we can use other initiator, Fade or Sova, to use their utility towards these areas to get more map control. Because as a defender, more map control you get in this map, you can rotate faster. And the first thing we covered is why this map is attacker sided, because it's such a big map, the defenders rotate, and if you don't have information, that's rotate so much longer, and you have to always play retake. If you always have to play retake to win the rounds as a defender. That's why it's harder. So these are the agents that I think you should play as a defender. Now I'm gonna cover the Killjoy and what's importance of the Killjoy of this map. Okay, why this German agent is pretty important in this map. This setup right here, I'm showing you, it's a very basic setup. Very basic setup that this literally you playing Garage or C here, depends on like where the enemies like to go. This setup here, you're getting so much information, this, and this. So your one agent actually can cover this mid, Garage, and C. You can actually maybe triple or 4-stack A some rounds easily because of Killjoy. Because you, as a Killjoy, you can slow the pushes, delay them at least. So when you hear your turret, depending on where turret shoots, you can pop your nano swarms and get information about this. And also the thing is, if they usually you try to pressure the map them to go towards A because your presence towards C and B. So you try to attackers can think that, oh, Killjoy playing C Garage, let's go A, because Killjoy has a if you know how to use your utility and pick off your turrets, pick off your alarm bots and everything, you can actually be a pain in the ass. But that's why it might force them to go A. But that's what you want as a Killjoy, that put the pressure on certain points of the map, push enemies towards A, which is your team is stacked. And after I think two rounds in defender side, you can do this ultimate too. If your team losing A, you can do this ulti too. Because right now Breach can destroy it, only Sova ulti and Brim ulti can destroy it, and it's also a little bugged. So other like Brim mollies and cannot stop it. So these kind of ultimates, and also if you're playing this ulti is pretty strong on C2. So the thing is, your kill job is holding the Garage, because Garage is important, especially taking out because you're alone. If attackers see that, okay, Killjoy actually make them stack A, so let's go C and utility bomb Killjoy. But as a Killjoy, your job is don't die on the side, because you're alone in the C side, and one and done is not give you anything. And also, if you die here as this setup, you will lose Garage control too. So you have to make sure that you delay, give info to your team, and since after your nano swarms, let's say you have this nano swarm, C-Long, and Garage, and after you use your nano swarms, you basically, if your turret gets destroyed, you're an agent, like a default agent. You have no abilities, so you have to, but still, you have to use your presence to keep the space occupied. So you have to hold this space, maybe hold this garage, and when the team comes, you have to be the first one to in because you have no utility left, and you have to make sure hold the garage for your team to take a C retake. And also don't forget that if you're no utility left and your ulti left, you have to bait for your team a little bit. Like you have to get the first contact because people with the utility can help you. So if you're playing Killjoy, also if you're playing heavy, you can also, this turret gives you, I mean, you don't have to be there to put the turret. This turret gives you also like a teammate to bait. If you know that someone peeking here alone, you can take this trade. I know this is a bad trade for attack for defender, but you actually make them flick because the first thing the defenders they try to shoot a turret, and you have to with the perfect crosshair placement you can kill them. But it's that fight that you want to take in this moment because it requires the attackers to flick on you rather, but you already have a good crosshair placement on them depending on where your turret is shooting. So in Killjoy, yes, you can play A2, but I don't recommend it because actually the playing A you can use kind of kill setups in here, and when they hear your turret, for example, if attackers hear a turret here, if I'm attacker and I know Killjoy, okay, let's get out of here. Let's not go A. Because when you get into the A against Killjoy, first you have to clear this, clear this, you have to clear this, you have to clear this, you have to someone come to short, clear this. You can make a kill setup here. Something like that. To hold a short and play off your turret from backside. So the thing is, you actually, as a Killjoy, as a setup, the kill setups I will call them, not the info setups, you're more strong at A than any other. But that's B, and putting Killjoy in the window gives you all this control over here and information. I think so much valuable for your team. As a stats, yes, you will basically play more retakes because they will try to avoid you, but it's in the long run you will win more games. Yes, maybe your stat line will hurt, but who cares about stats, right? It's all about winning or not. So as a Cypher, it's my tier below Killjoy on this map because as a Cypher, playing A gives you so much advantage, especially cam like this here. You can basically hold A side because I think most important thing that because you can be at the heaven, because usually this plays smoke, right? But you can actually, without even tagging, just seeing player where they run, you can spam this. Especially that's why you need to use Phantom too. But also you can use your tripwires to, when they highlight it, you can shoot through smoke. So you can hold this side alone, but if you're a Cypher on your team, if you know how to set up on A, you should basically stack towards Garage and C. So that's the different mindsets of playing Cypher and Killjoy. If you have a Killjoy, you want to stack towards A because Killjoy's info gathering more and delaying more important, more strong in the B and C areas. But in Cypher, putting Cypher on the C, it's kind of, how do you say, I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, you can, yes, there's a Cypher 1 tricks and everyone can argue against that, but people who know how to spend utility towards C in high elo is make your life miserable. And also you can abuse some one ways. Also, if you want to play side, you can use abilities like one ways like this. And also if you want to use, you can also, if you want to more control, this tripwire is also good for B side. Don't do this tripwire because it's easy to destroy. You rather want to do that. You will say it will same spot, but it's actually less ignorable by enemies if they're rushing towards side. So, and also this cam, it should be your bread and butter in this side because it gives you so much vision towards A, and since you are playing heaven, it gives you so much room to maybe not tag, but it just like Imagine you're in the heaven. Where the fuck I am? Okay. Imagine you're in the heaven and you see someone towards gold wall. You can just spam it if they destroy your tripwire. You can get so much information from here to spam. You see someone coming here, you can spam this areas too. So this position is pretty important for you as a cipher. So any other sentinel cannot stay here and get value of it. Killjoy cannot get value of it. Only cipher can value this spot because it's always smoke. But if you know how to play around smoke, which cipher can, it gives you tremendous enough value on this map as cipher. But it gives you less map control. That's why you need to, like, okay, an enemy team attackers will think that, okay, Cypher has a good setup on A, let's focus on B or C. That's why your teams need to play, maybe if you maybe using this trip, maybe 1-0-2-2-1, something like that. That depends on if you're using this trip or not. If you're not, you have to 1-1-2 around 1-1-3 around the, so one your side and one B, because if you're not using a trip, you're just using the A side. So the rest of the three should split this. So basically, the thing is about this defensive side of this map, how to use Sentinel, your presence should force them, pressurize them to go the other side, which is your team stacking. When I say stacking, in other maps it could be 3, but in this map most likely 2, because this is such a huge map. So if you're playing Cypher, play A, and you will get so much more rounds and give more like, yes, if when they start avoiding you at A, you might your stat line will hurt. But why this also Heaven is important, because when breach ulti side, you can actually wait here, and after the ulti hit, you can check your camera and start spamming again. Fade ulti won't hit you probably, and if the only thing that actually gets you Raze, but she has to push through the smoke. If the smoked, if you Raze with ulti, double satchel in here, but it's smoke and it's still like, you like to take that fight. It's iffy because it's smoked. You can use that smoke to your advantage. So that's why it's such a strong spot in here. And Cypher, if you're playing Cypher, play A. Okay, so what's the difference between Sova and Fade in this map? That I think if you're solo initiator in this map, Sova is the hardest one, because your every piece of utility has to be so important. And I see a lot of people throwing this kind of darts, of course with a lineup, that try to secure this area or just get info, but this kind of darts are, the issue is that easily destroyable, and it doesn't give you advantage to contest this orb at all. And if someone just, for example, if there's a Cypher, Killjoy on attack, they can destroy the start and probably lock you in this area by destroying the start, that you can't move, because now you have to either drone, either jump peek some stuff, or the thing is, with the utility using, you're not getting anything out of it if you're not fighting, of course, with the whole team. So I'd rather use Sova towards B, Garage, and C, because in the ranked game mode, you can do arrows like this to someone can walk up this space and get info until here, because this dart will cover all this area, and you can one of your friend push through. And also, since this dart lands behind the attackers, you at least get a scan for sure, or you heal gunshot. How many gunshot you will hear? It gives you more info and gives you room to play. And also, it's not destroyable by people who playing here, because usually no one plays here at the attack as a default. Either they play here or towards garage, or they hold with the trap or alarm bot or something. So you can move your teammates towards this strong position that attackers won't expect. And other thing you can do is that if you're getting a mid control, the thing in the garage is super important, because you can shoot the start. The start I really love the start. It gives so much control. Imagine you smoke the window here, and let's say your Reyna running down into Tudor's corner. which we talk about how strong is that position. So you smoke the window and you throw this dart. It lands behind. So that in order to destroy the dart, either you have to peek it to destroy it, or you have to stay here. So let's say how many seconds people saying? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4.5 seconds they have to be here, and your teammate can shift walk towards all the space and get this out of off angle, control, and also hearing everyone. So I rather use Soa be on C towards this kind of reasons that if towards A, but if you're playing A, I think instead of darting, I think you just doing this or jump peeking gives you so much more information than just erasing your utility. If you are like they're rushing, they probably flash out, do something, and you will get info, which is you should fall back. And this thing is about different between Fade and Soa. The Soa dart can stop, push, and buy time. So for example, people coming from long, they cannot shoot this dart and they have to respect it because someone might be heaven. And if they get scanned by this dart, they can get spammed by the smoke. So they have to respect that dart, actually buying almost 5 seconds to your team from here. And also, the thing is, if you're playing this side, you can spam by yourself, or also, if you after the first scan, no one coming, you can usually fight with this area with your teammate or your teammate here or here. You can fight this because you know at 2 people or 3 people stuck in long, and you might take this fight with your teammate because they cannot help them. And other thing, if you're playing this side, this start is pretty strong. Stop pushes from this area. They have to respect it, or they will get spammed by CT smoke or heaven smoke. They have to respect that dart, so you're buying a lot of time. So instead of using your dart on A main I see a lot of ranked players, Sova players does that, they just throw it in here like that and trying to get info. But it's actually, this darts can be destroyable. Of course, in the mid round, you need the info. You want to shoot this kind of dart if you need the info in the mid round. But as it's starting the round, I think it's pretty weak, pretty wasted. And I think you should play Soa, B, Garage, and towards C, because you can enable your teammates to push important spots and important positions on the map. And if you're also playing C, you can, this kind of behind the back darts, you can throw them to hold the push towards C if they're rushing the C. And also you have a little bit more utility to chip damage the attackers. So that's different. As a defender, Solo is hard, especially Solo Initiator is so much easier on attack. But in defender, you have to really know a couple lineups. You have to like how to get value of your utility, how to get value. You know how to when to use drone, especially in defense people. So for example, I do this dart here, and I get info, and my teammate pushed here. So he says I don't hear anything. So basically, I need to do this. I need to get info after, or if, like for example, if the thing is you need to create a pressure. So why I'm trying to create pressure? So if I see like couple spot 2 here, they might see that, oh, they will rotate C before we get in. So they might try to rotate, and my teammate is already in this spot, and here also probably get one easy kill if they go back to the garage or B, and also here the rotation. So the things about Soa in this map, especially in defense, you have to use your utility to put your teammates in position. It's hard for you to, only you can use your utility for yourself if they're rushing to your side, which is delay. And other than, you need to use your dart to push and coordinate with your team to smoke window. I'm gonna dart out of the garage, push towards mid, get that spot, and try to put. And also, it's hard to secure with this only Soa. It's hard to secure this. It's hard to secure this orb here. It's hard to secure. So that's why as a defense, Soul Initiator Soa is hardest map, because it denies this. If you're solo, of course, if you have a breach, you can also you don't need to play A anymore. So the thing is, this orb is very important, people, very important in the rank, that because mini run comes to your win conditions. And what's your win conditions? Sometimes breach ulti, sometimes fade ulti, sometimes raise ulti. Those win conditions, and you need to create them to, in order to create those win conditions, you need to get control of the orb. So this is my guide on defense on Haven, how you should play it. Thank you for watching, and I will upload to attacking side soon. Thank you.